Here we go.
Here we go.
We're here, and it's October. It's our October episode.
Didn't we do it at the beginning of October?
No, we haven't done.
Are you sure?
Honey, remember October, November, December were single episode months?
Well, if it rhymed, I would know.
October, November, December were single episodes to remember.
Remember. October, November, December.
Single episode months. In our
sucked.
In our titration.
We're titrating.
In our titration. Which we haven't discussed season 3 or if it's gonna happen or we don't know.
No, well, the thing is we have the same discussion about it every time, which ends with we don't know.
Yes, but it's good that we are having it on mic so that people know that we still don't know.
So they can hold our feet to the fire.
About not knowing?
Yeah.
Anyway, I got my weekend water.
Oh, guess what?
What?
I'm Paul F. Tompkins.
Oh, I forgot that part. See how long it's been? I'm Janie Haddad Tompkins.
I'm a comedian.
I'm an actress.
We are a married couple living in Los Angeles.
And this is our after dinner bullshit conversation that we just record and make you sit through.
That's right. And let me tell you, folks, we had it was a challenging week.
We're toast.
We're tired. There was a lot of things that had to get done. We got our boosters, our COVID boosters.
Yeah, go get them if you got them.
Get them if you want them.
If you want them.
And you should want them.
They're out there. And they're ready to roll.
You had bad. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Oh, are you okay? God. You need a little something?
No.
Do you need a different kind of booster?
Are you saying it's snowing in the bathroom?
Yeah. Should we take a break?
Hey, everybody, we're segueing into being a cocaine podcast.
It used to be an after dinner podcast, and now it's a pre all night podcast.
That's right. We're going to be doing fat rails.
So yeah, boosters. Oh wait, just a little business though, because I don't want to forget. We did launch on our last episode some new merch at Kinship Goods. And there are still a few, just a handful of each size of the Piggly Wiggly Dracula sweatshirt. That's a limited edition sweatshirt.
You got it. If you haven't seen it, take a look at that sweatshirt. It's really funny. It's a great Halloween sweatshirt.
It's so good. And then also the Weekend Water Lowball glasses sold out right away. But we are here to tell you that they will be back in stock mid-November, just in time for your Christmas or holiday or whatever business end of the year.
If you're local, go in there and get them.
Oh, by the way, because I run into my neighbors all the time. So I ran into Julie the other day, and she said,
Julie, the 5th character of the podcast,
we should have some stay-f napkins. And I was like, that's a good idea. Like, could be like a set of 4. Like one is like a cuckoo, one is like a Paul face, one's like a Janie face, and then one's like a y'all or like a
Are these
something.
Cloth or paper?
That's a good question. Well, cloth is better for the environment.
True.
And would they be dinner napkins or a cocktail napkin? I feel like a set of like a square cocktail.
Fun cloth cocktail napkins could be good.
Could be good. Stay-f napkins. That was Julie's idea, by the way. She went to business school.
Yeah. She's always thinking of ideas. And we should be taking a nap on them.
Oh,
like the little drawing is like us. It's like you taking a nap, me taking a nap, the cuckoo taking a nap.
I need to be taking a nap. Oh, Piggly. Well, I need to be taking a nap because I'm fried. My brain is fried.
Here's what I was going to say. You had side effects from the booster.
I didn't have side effects from my first Pfizer round, but I did.
You did for the second one.
No, I was just fatigued. I didn't have, I think I had a slight headache, but I didn't. This one I had chills and the sheets hurt my body.
Yeah. And like so many keys are sticking to her. And I don't know, who do we talk to about that?
Well, it's actually convenient because then you don't lose your keys.
That's very true. But also you find everybody else's. did not have any like symptom like side effects. I was just tired.
You had fatigue.
I was really tired.
You never have the same reaction that I do to anything.
I have a pretty strong constitution. It's true.
Anything.
It's
the
true.
one time I think we both got that food poisoning.
9/11. I was like, I get that it's a big deal.
Finally, took a lot of convincing.
What were you gonna
Just
say?
that we had the food poisoning in January, and you had some of it, which was unusual because usually we eat the same thing, and I'm the only one that gets sick from it.
Do you remember when we both got the norovirus at Christmas?
Oh, that's true, but
And yours was much worse.
Yeah, you've only puked that one time from drunk history. That's the only time I've seen you puke.
That's true. That's the only time you've seen me.
Are you hiding it? Are you like?
Look, I go out in the backyard. I dig a hole.
Yeah, not me, man. How many times do you think you've seen me puke?
Oh, not that many. You haven't. I don't think you've thrown up in a long time.
I used to a lot when we first started dating. I did a lot. Then you sat me down and had a talk with me.
What? Is that true?
You said that you don't remember this?
No.
You were like, you need to stop drinking on an empty stomach. You told me that. And I was like, I was like pretty broke at the time. And I was running with all of y'all that had like jobs and stuff. And it would be like, I'd show up for the drinks hangout.
And now I'm the villain of the story. Me in my mansion telling you to eat food. I was pretty broke. It was either food or drinks.
It was like, I don't know.
But you did that even after we were together. That was a move for you for a long time.
It was a move.
I would watch it happen.
I was like,
and be like, uh-oh.
I was like younger. So I didn't know what I was doing so much.
Exactly.
Also, speaking of 9/11, I was still 9/11. I was still in my PTSD.
How far back are we going now?
Like 2006.
Okay.
Maybe 2005. I can't remember if you had that talk with me before or after, like if it was one of our fake dating times.
No, it would have been when we were committed to each other.
Oh, that's a committed conversation?
It is.
Interesting.
It's not my place to tell you, if we're not together.
What's the most awkward conversation you've ever had to have?
Oh my God. What a question. I feel like I talked about this. Did we talk about this on Busy's podcast?
Well, some of that podcast got cut out, if you recall. Because
but I don't remember.
We were talking
what
about
got cut out. Yes.
Some things.
Yeah, but it would not have been in that section.
Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever taken part in like an intervention?
No. I had a friend who was sober when he was younger, and then he had been sober into adulthood, and then decided he could start drinking again. And it was the beginning of a terrible downward slide for him. And I'd been hearing things about him, that his girlfriend broke up with him, and he like had this shabby apartment.
I was going to say did he used to be a neighbor of yours? No, I know. Okay, never mind.
No. I'm curious as to who that is. Well, I'll ask later. And we went out one night, because I wanted to like see how, like check in on him. Not like an intervention, but just to see like how he's doing. And we like hung out for a while. It was a little awkward because for me, I had this thing that I wanted to talk to him about, and it was very difficult to like get into it. Wait,
that was not about his drinking.
Yes, I wanted to address that, but I didn't know how to get into it. And so we were like together for like a half hour or something like that, and then I just like asked him, "How are you doing with drinking? How has it been?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, he was a little taken aback and not in a angry way, but he was like, oh, well, it's like, it's okay. I mean, I think it's okay. And I said, do you see it becoming a problem? And he was quiet, and then like a tear rolled down his cheek. And he said, yeah, sometimes. And then we didn't talk about it anymore. He like changed the subject, and then, that was it. And I was like, oh man, that's bad.
Yeah.
And we were not that close anymore at that point, and I didn't know what to do,
Well, I mean, I guess a lot of times when someone is experiencing like a hard time like that, all you can really do is kind of express interest in how they're doing and say that you are open and available to like more meaningful conversations about what's going on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's always so hard to know, because sometimes, like, if someone's really close to you, like, then and they've been kind of like not, I don't know, like, it depends on your relationship to the person.
Yeah. For sure.
Like sometimes, like they're like, if you're really like super close with someone, I think sometimes like you can't almost say anything, because if you're that close, like if you say the thing, it's not meaningful. Does that make sense? Like I have a situation in my, my situation.
Yeah.
If I were to like approach,
it's not meaningful to the other person.
To the
like
other person,
they'll just disregard it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's why interventions happen, is that it's getting a bunch of people together to say, you can't dismiss all of this. Right. We're all saying we've noticed the same thing. And it's
right.
affecting...
Like you can't be like, oh, you're, this is none of your business. Or like things that have been said to me before. This is none of your business. Or this is just like, this is private. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, if like 10 people said stuff, then it's not so private.
Yeah.
Yeah. But...
And it's not just an opinion. It's like there's a consensus here that this is a problem.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't mean to bring up the whole drinking. I just meant like awkward conversations, like in general. Like sometimes when I'm out in the world and I'm interacting with the public, I have a hard time like speaking up. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like if I'm doing something, like I don't know a good example. I
mean, I'm going to need that example.
It's not like, I don't know, like if I'm on an airplane or something, and the person next to me takes their shoes and socks off and sticks their foot or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like one time I was in a middle seat. I was traveling alone and I had a middle seat and I was flanked by two like middle-aged white dudes, and they were like man-spreading like the fucking cows coming home. I mean, like the laptop was like in my thigh.
Yeah.
And like, I even like took a little like quick surreptitious picture to send my girlfriends to be like, I'm now married to this stranger. Like I've been more intimate with this man than my husband, I
don't like that.
And I just like, I didn't know what to do in that situation.
Yeah, I think that's hard. I have a hard time with that too. Like I told you, when I went to get my booster, there was this, this is like a classic drugstore character, right? It's like this old guy with like the long, stringy white hair.
Oh, this is reminding me of a comedy bit.
round glasses and like weird Velcro shoes.
Remember
and
Kilroy?
Stuff.
Sorry, it was the Paul bit.
And he was like standing behind me in line, like we did in the old days, but we don't do that anymore.
But they had those little dots on the floor at the Walgreens that
he
tell
wasn't
you
looking
where to.
at no dots. He was right behind me.
Come on, man.
And so I kept moving up and he would move up with me. It's like, no, you can see how many people are ahead of you. I'm not moving up because the line is moving. I'm moving up to get away from you.
Also, can I just point out that the new normal of like, here's a dot and here's a dot and it's nowhere near me. Yeah. I would have been fine with that pre-COVID.
For sure.
Like that that's like one of the things that's like was an improvement on. Like, okay, we have more personal space now.
Because in this drugstore, you're in the aisle anyway. You're not like, it's not a separate area.
Right.
You're in the middle of an aisle where people are shopping. So it's like, hey, why don't we just spread out? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Let's enjoy it. This is great. But it felt like because things have changed, this guy being behind me in what would normally have been a normal position, it felt like he was
aggressive,
piggybacking me.
Yeah.
Felt like he was on my shoulders.
It felt
but
like
I didn't say anything.
It felt like he was making some kind of statement. Mm-hmm. I mean, I would think it would feel like, what are you trying to say here?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you just kind of like, I mean, and sometimes like, so for that,
I didn't say anything. I just texted you. I didn't say anything.
Yeah, I know, but in that situation, like you're going to be out of this situation. It's a brief.
That's what I'm thinking, right? That definitely factors into it. Where I'm thinking like, okay, well,
I'll just power through.
I'm just going to but then of course you don't factor it. But then because you're thinking that way, when it does take longer than you expect it to take, then you're like, well, I've missed the window to say, hey, buddy.
Yeah, because I let it go on for 2 whole minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like not long ago, and that's another thing is like now in this new normal where we are wearing masks like in public and stuff, that's also to me, that's another barrier of like, how do I interact in a polite way?
Yeah.
Because, okay, for example, this was like a month ago. I was like, I went and had lunch with Samantha. And we were by this Albertsons, and I was like, oh, I'll pop into that Albertsons, you know, because I had to get like a few items, you know. That's probably more information than this story needs. It's just like I'm trying to set like a visual, you know, like a scene. So I'm running through the Albertsons, and like you said, you have to kind of do the thing where you have your grocery cart and you're spaced back into the aisle, you know. So I'm about to like go through the checkout, and this woman comes up and she's like 9,700, you know? Yeah. I mean, like she's like got her stuff, and I'm like, oh man, like she shouldn't be in here. And she thought no one was in line and someone was in front of me with the cart, and then someone was behind me with a cart. And I
mean, that's a line.
And yes, and then someone was at the checkout, like past the walkthrough of the aisles, right? Yeah. So she's like, she doesn't kind of know or see that there's like 3 people with buggies like backed up in the.
That's a shopping cart for people not from the South.
In the cracker aisle.
Buggies.
And so.
Don't you see my buggy?
And then she was like.
You old fool.
It is a buggy.
Now you see how I'm pushing this buggy?
What do you call it again?
You want me to tote my groceries around in my arms?
What do you call it again?
We call it a shopping cart.
That's it?
Yeah. That's it. Or a cart, I guess you could shorten it to.
It's a buggy. It's a buggy. People have written in about this already. The people have weighed in. Because this has come up on the podcast before. Remember we did a thing about like regional isms? Yeah. It's a buggy. Anyway, 3 buggies
I'm
deep.
not saying it's not a buggy. I'm just saying some people might not know that term.
By the way, I
think it's adorable.
I decided that this just came to me that I might, if I ever open a grocery store, I would call it buggies. Because that is a good idea, isn't it?
How are you spelling it?
Buggis.
Okay. It has to be IES.
Right, because they might think it's somebody's name.
Yeah, and you just don't want the idea of bugs.
And then, but then there would be like a little buggy logo with two big googly eyes, and like
the G's.
And like 2 thumbs up.
There's got to be googly eyes in the G's.
Oh, that's good.
What about this though? Not a grocery store, but a supermarket themed bar called Buggies. Buggies is a good name for a bar, I think.
Buggies is a good name for a bar.
Oh, he's out of Buggies till closing time.
I was out of Buggies. They had the game on.
Oh my God. I was overserved at Buggies last night.
Oh my God. The game went into extra innings at Buggies.
But only at Buggies.
Only at Buggies. All right. So anyway, this woman comes up. So she didn't know there was like 3 people waiting.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was like, oh, is this the line or whatever?
Savage.
And the lady in front of, or whoever was in front of me was like, it's behind. It's like, behind me and the person behind me. And I was like, oh man, she only had like a few items. And by the way, the woman who was checking out was like her ride. Like she is her neighbor and she looked after her. There was like a whole drama going on. Oh yeah. Cause remember
Just
I came.
Give your neighbor the stuff.
But remember I came. Yeah. You remember cause I came home upset about it.
Yeah, I know.
I was upset by it. But the thing was, it was like in the moment, and everyone's wearing a mask, and I've like ran through the grocery store like it's contaminated, and I couldn't be like, just go in front of me because someone was in front of me.
Yeah.
And then if I were to give her my spot in line, then I'd have to go behind the guy. It was like all of this calculation was going on in my mind within like a split second. And then by then, like, she was in the back of the line and then it was like moving forward. But I was like, this sucked. Like, why didn't we all take care of this elderly woman?
Yeah.
Austin, and I was complicit.
Do you know what
I
else?
was complicit.
No,
I was Kitty Genovese in the back.
Oh my God.
I was like, whatever. I was like, it was like, one of those things where you're just like minding your own fucking business. And then something comes up in the public and you come face to face with it. You interact with it.
Yeah.
And this is like the dumbest thing. Cause like real world shit happens in front. I mean, like, think about last summer when people videotaping this or that or what, but it's like, I'm not always mentally quick enough or prepared enough to engage in a meaningful or valuable way. Does that make sense?
It does, because I think that situations like that, because they're not life or death situations. So you don't have like that you don't feel the urgency to like, I have to make a decision right now. It's more like,
well, that's a good point.
This is sad.
That's a different situation.
It feels bad. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. What can I do? And part of that to factor in is that in the old days before COVID, lines were not that way. And so you could kind of let somebody get in front of you.
And also
but now that everybody has their different,
your mouth is
different
covered.
Positions.
And your mouth is covered.
Yeah.
And so you're like, how do I, and I'm fine. I mean, now I sound like some Karen, like anti-masker. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But like when you communicate with people with masks on now, you don't have the same intentions anymore. You're just doing the basics.
Yeah.
Because it's like very hard to get.
This is why it's important for us to smize.
I mean, because like I'm the kind of person too, like being from the South. Actually, just the East Coast in general. It's an East Coast thing, I think, where you kind of make small talk.
Yeah.
As you go through the world. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's way more East than West, in my personal opinion.
I think I would say people do that here sometimes. It depends on the place. You know what I mean? I do think that back East, I was more accustomed to that. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I when I think of places that don't do that, I think of places like
Oregon,
Montana, or whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Like
or Maine. I don't know, where people just keep to themselves.
Like rugged individualism.
Mm-hmm. Insurrectionists. You can say it.
I don't know. Anyway, that's gone now because you go and you're making a purchase with a mask on it's like you're getting in and getting out.
Yeah.
Do you think that is part of the breakdown of society? Maybe the mask is, maybe I'm turning into an anti-masker.
I don't think, you know what's so funny is like, I can't believe how used to the mask I am now. Like,
but has it not altered your behavior in the general confrontation of the world?
In some ways, yeah, but I don't think in any way that is super meaningful.
I mean,
will
sometimes
say
I like it.
a weird thing that
certain person
sure, absolutely
comes by, I'm like happy.
Oh, bad breath, Bobby. But we were rehearsing the other day for this show that we're doing tomorrow night.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about that.
And we had a rehearsal on Tuesday, and we were like, let's keep our masks on for rehearsal. And I'm the sort of de facto director of the show since I am writing and producing it. And so I was giving some notes and everything, but it was weird to realize I don't necessarily know what their complete performance is.
No,
because I can't see all of their face.
Bad move on the I mean, personally, if I were directing it, I would have said we have to take our mask. I mean, personally. That's just me.
But you know what?
Because we're going to be doing it without masks anyway.
Yes, but you also got to trust your people. You know what I mean? And this, I put together this team of good people. I know they're going to do a good job.
I know, but part of performance is also like if my scene partner, like I can be the best actor in the world, but I still want my scene partner's juices. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I want their energy. I want their
of course
micro expressions. You know what I'm saying?
And their microaggressions.
Exactly.
I want their microexpressions, their microaggressions, and their microclimates.
Like it's, like there is a connection thing. I don't know.
No, of course. But it was like, but also somebody had a cold. They were getting over a cold. So it was like, let's be abundantly cautious.
That's a different situation.
Yeah. Are you saying the show's not going to go well?
I don't know. I just got added to the show. I guess we should talk about it.
Yes, I'm doing a show. As of this recording, it will be Saturday, October 23rd, 8 p.m. Pacific. That is a sketch show that's like a sort of Twilight Zone vibe to it. It's still comedy, but it's something I've been wanting to do for a long time. And I put together a great group of people. Some of those people dropped out. I got more great people.
What's the name of the show?
It is called The Uncanny Hollow.
The Uncanny Hollow.
And it will be live streaming via dynastytypewriter.com. So no matter where you live, you can watch the show. If you can't watch it live, it'll be archived for a week afterwards.
1 week. So if you go to Dynasty
You'll have 1 week.
It's been 7 hours and 16 days since you live streamed here. DynastyTypewriter.com will lead you to their ticket page. Yeah. So you can live stream it tomorrow night, which if you're listening to this, it depends on when you're listening to this.
Yes.
We're talking about October 23rd, 2021. You could be listening to this 5 years from now.
Oh my God. You could be an alien race that discovered this podcast 1,000,000 years in the future.
So go to DynastyTypewriter.com. So I guess you had this sketch show planned. You're writing and producing it. Some actors dropped out.
One dropped out because of a job. Then I replaced that person. Another one dropped out because of a job that got hectic. And so I replaced that person. And then another person dropped out because of a family emergency.
Personal family stuff.
And I replaced that person with 2 people. And you're one of them.
Guys, I guess Ricky finally put me into the show.
Do you know what the process was, honey? And I'll tell you, is that I was first thinking of comedy people because it's a comedy show and that's where I started. And then I was thinking, oh, well, it doesn't have to be a comedy person necessarily. It's a sketch. It just has to be an actor.
Scripted.
And then I was like, who could I get? And then I was like, oh, wait a second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Would you care to have someone who's classically trained in the American theater? Perhaps that was one of your considerations.
It was.
I, my dear, have tread the boards.
Yes. I needed someone who had trod the boards.
And
I found someone in my own living room. Can you believe it?
It's such a darling idea. I'm very honored.
Anyway. Now, I've put you in shows before.
It's true.
You've always been in a costume or hidden behind a screen.
I know. That's neither here nor there. I mean, it's true. This is actually the kind of thing though where I could be a pinch hitter for. This is not.
It's going to be great.
It's not the same as like, oh, I need someone to do stand up, or I need to do improv or sing with this 8-piece band or whatever. So it did make some sense. Mm-hmm. However, I did just get the pages. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of like frenetic energy that has been fueling this week. Right. That was not, I mean, there's other things going, like I have like 2 auditions due over what was funny is I did audition for I think it was like an insurance commercial last week. And in my mind, I was like, I'm just going to, I did like a blue jeans.
Blue jeans.
a blue Janies. So I had my little curtain up and I was like, well, certainly I'll get a call back. I leave the curtain up. Guess what, guys? Then I put the curtain away. I swear to God, you know what? Put the curtain away.
You got to put the curtain away.
Always put the curtain away.
If there's anything I can impart to any of you listening tonight, it's that sometimes you have to put the curtain away.
So you put the curtain away, and then you get like a bunch of like it rains auditions. Like, I'm serious. So there was stuff going on and whatever.
It was a week of anxiety and exhaustion.
It was, but you know what? We're very grateful because, obviously, we're healthy. We got our boosters and there's all kinds of weird shit going on. Do you believe in that Mercury and retro whatever shit?
Look, I don't, who knows, right? I don't know. I don't know how much that actually affects us. I get that if the moon can affect the tides, then it's not wild to think that there are things that can affect people that are made of mostly of water.
Of course.
Right?
That I agree with that.
But I agree with that. I never think about it.
But can people, I 100% agree with all of that, with the solar flares and the moon tides or whatever, whatever. But the idea that anyone can read into it what it means or what it does. Yeah. Doesn't ring true to me. Like, there's no science. There might be some like studies where it's like, oh, more computers break down or whatever. Yeah. But like, that's not conclusive. Is that bad to say?
No, I don't think so. And I think that like now I feel like I'm in this place that I've never been before where and this is not even just an internet thing because the internet's been around for a while now. We've been on Twitter and social shit for, a couple decades now. It's that I'm seeing so much like horoscope talk about signs and like, well, this is just classic chaotic Scorpio behavior or whatever. And it's like,
I'm a Scorpio.
Everyone's I see so many people saying stuff like this. Yeah. And I'm like, what is everyone talking about? It feels like it's so accepted now. And I'm not trying to hold on a second. I'm not trying to poo-poo this. I'm not trying to like talk you out of the thing that means something to you if you're listening to this. I'm not trying to be like just a curmudgeon. It's not something that I ever placed any stock in. But now I feel like is it becoming what we all believe now?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. All right. Because also there's like religion and stuff. So it's like, to me, it's like all in the same bag, right?
I know.
You just believe what you believe.
Yeah, of course. Of course. I feel like I noticed an uptick in
I don't know what I believe.
Talk.
You know what I believe in? I believe in humanity and the human condition. Mm-hmm. That is my belief system. Right. Like, I believe that human behavior is the thing that we should put the stock in. Does that make sense?
I just believe in me, Janie and me.
Okay, we gotta take a break. Some ads. Do you believe in magic? Spoon! Growing up, cereal was one of the best parts of being a kid. But I had to give it up because I realized it was full of sugar and junk that you really shouldn't eat.
I remember when you did that.
Isn't that funny? We're all trying to eat better. But healthy breakfast doesn't have to be boring. Magic Spoon has the amazing flavors you love, but without all the bad stuff. And it's amazing as a midnight snack right before bed. Okay. It has 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. Only 140 calories a serving. Are you kidding me? It's keto friendly, gluten free, grain free, soy free, and low carb. Okay. You could build your own box right now. Available flavors to build your own custom bundle are cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, blueberry, cinnamon, cookies and cream, and maple waffle. Cookies and cream and maple waffle are very popular.
That's what we call each other.
And they've been back permanently.
Yeah.
I'm cookies and cream.
I'm maple waffle.
These are amazing, great flavors that I think are so delicious, but also healthy. So good for a guiltless midnight snack. I mean, personally, it's more like an 8:30 p.m. snack for me because I fall asleep so early. So go to magicspoon.com/homekins to grab a custom bundle of cereal and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code HOMEKINS
Be sure to do it.
at checkout to save $5 off your order. They're so confident in their product that it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it, they'll refund you your money. So remember to get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/homekins and use the code HOMEKINS to save $5 off. Thank you, Magic Spoon.
Hello. Is there something interfering with your happiness or is preventing you from achieving your goals? Therapy can help you. It helped me a great deal. I am not exaggerating when I say therapy made my life good. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can start communicating in under 48 hours. It is not a crisis line. It is not self-help. It is professional counseling done securely online. There is a broad range of expertise available, which may not be locally available in many areas. The service is available for clients worldwide. You can log into your account anytime and send a message to your counselor. You'll get timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions so you won't ever have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room as with traditional therapy. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches so they make it easy and free to change counselors if needed. It's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today. Visit their website and read their testimonials that are posted daily. Visit betterhelp.com/homekins. That's betterhelp.com/HOMEKINS. And join the over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they are recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. Special offer for our podcast listeners. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/homekins. That's betterhelp.com/homekins.
Speaking of feeling good, what could possibly help you feel your best? Well, let me tell you guys. Feels CBD. It's a beautiful tincture. So if you've ever been impacted by aches and pains, nervousness, or sleeplessness, you can find relief without hangover or addiction. They spent over a year working with a community of farmers and extractors to craft a high-quality CBD oil that's consistent from batch to batch. Each bottle contains 100% premium full-spectrum hemp extract and USDA organic MCT oil for maximum efficacy. So you can join their monthly membership program. CBD is an abbreviation for cannabidiol. Cannabidiol? Well, just use CBD. Just say CBD. They have all these compounds from the hemp plant. So they have all these wonderful different products. The Flight, you can get a 600 milligram, a 1200 milligram, a 2400 milligram. What's so beautiful about it, though, is it comes in this amazing, beautiful packaging. I'm not kidding. It's this tincture. And I use Feel CBD because they sent us a beautiful array of their products. And you just kind of stick it under your tongue. You allow it to take effect, and it just kind of takes the edge off. So I think Feels CBD is the perfect way to introduce yourself to something mild and effective that will make you feel better. So please go to feals.com, FEALS.com, and use our promo code HOMEKINS. Use our promo code HOMEKINS at feals.com, FEALS.com, promo code HOMEKINS for a great deal specifically for our listeners who want to try Feels CBD. Also, I know I said this before and I'm going to say it again. I think it would make a great gift because it's beautiful. It's small. You can carry it in your purse and it's just like a nice sentiment. All right. Thank you, Feels. All right. One more sponsor for this wonderful October only episode. It's Green Chef, guys. Green Chef has a meal plan for every healthy lifestyle. Keto, paleo, plant-powered diets, or if you just want to have delicious balanced dishes. So, their expert chefs curate every recipe with over 30 meal choices every week. It is a meal subscription plan where they will send you like partially prepped meals with these beautiful recipe cards. It's basically good if, number one, you don't want to think about your meal planning. It takes the sort of like the work out of it. Number two, if you're kind of new to cooking, what do you think? What do you like about Green Chef, Paul?
Let me tell you something. They enclose those cards with the recipes on them and they have a picture of what the food is supposed to look like. Then when you make the food, it looks like the picture and it's very exciting.
I kind of do a thing where I like plate my Green Chef meal next to the recipe card photo and then I take a little photo for myself. It's just kind of satisfying.
It's astonishing.
They're the first USDA certified organic meal kit. So you can enjoy hand-picked organic veggies and premium proteins without having to worry about where they came from. So personally, I've had a lot of Green Chef meals because they've been sort of an early adopter of Stay F Homekins. And I'm not going to lie. I think the food is delicious. And I'm kind of like a food snob. Like I'm a little foodie. Like I like to cook. I like to cook everything myself and plan everything myself and read cookbooks myself. But then when this comes, it's kind of a surprise and it adds a little variation in my life. And every single time, it's a really solid and delicious meal. Cuckoo even loves it. So please go to greenchef.com/homekins125 and use homekins125 to get $125 off, including free shipping. I think that's a really good deal. So I would take advantage of it. greenchef.com/homekins125. It's the #1 meal kit for eating well. So thank you, Green Chef. Well, we're back.
We're back.
Thanks for hanging in with us, guys. Thanks for joining us for our October.
What?
I was going to say solo October episode or October.
We'll get there. We'll figure it out.
One-tober? One?
Octoberon?
Octoberon.
No. We'll figure
anyway,
by the end, we'll figure it out.
Thanks for hanging in with us, guys. We are grateful to have the Stay F Homekins universe as part of our lives.
The expanded Stay F Homekins universe.
We love kinship goods. We've got our great products. We've got
you all.
Got so many listeners and we feel connected. Things are changing because I don't know. We can't really. When does the pandemic just become endemic?
Yeah.
And when does that happen?
I know.
Kind of does. It's already maybe happening in America. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's such a. We were talking about the incident on that set with Alec Baldwin and the gun, and
yeah, we didn't talk about it in the first half because
we were having fun.
Here's the thing. So if you're not up to date, there was. Well, a couple of things have been going on. One, there was pressure to strike in the Yahtzee union, which we talked about on a previous episode, by the way. And then they averted, supposedly, the strike because they had struck some kind of deal that they're going to bring to the membership.
The noise we're hearing
minute.
is that the deal is not great.
So, just really quick though, like in terms of how like this union guild stuff works, something I've learned being in SAG. I'm not in Yahtzee and I'm not in WGA or DGA or anything. I'm only in SAG and
Actors Equity.
However, the way that these contract negotiations work, if you want to bring certain concerns to the table, unfortunately, you got to get in there like months before the contract expires.
Yeah. And this is not to blame.
No, I'm not blaming anyone.
No, I know you're not.
This is a process.
I'm saying to the listeners,
this is a process argument.
It's that the thing about unions is you have representatives, and the idea is they're supposed to look out for your interests. It seemed like, of course, everyone knows if you are the Yahtzee representative that's dealing with the producers, right?
Yes.
Of course, everyone assumes you would know,
but they don't know.
No, and it's like,
so what happened?
The issues are very clear. They're very clear.
So at least 6 months before they have these meetings, at least in SAG. So they'll have these meetings, and if you have a concern, you need to attend all of these meetings and get it like sort of on the table before they go in to the negotiations. Now, the sort of challenges, at least in SAG, and I think it probably is true for Yahtzee, is that the membership is heterogeneous. So there could be a faction of the membership that is concerned about this one thing. Like, I'm just going to use SAG as like a example. Like, there might be a group of stunt people who worry about one thing. But me as like an actor, I don't know anything about what they do. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Because what I do is very different. Mm-hmm. Or if I'm a background actor, that's totally different than like a principal like Tom Cruise is not the same as when I was a background actor on Friends. So my concerns are different than him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like you've got this sort of heterogeneous body that has different needs, and
this is sexy. Ooh, you got this heterogeneous body, and so, like, different needs.
The noisiest and the most organized is going to be the one that gets their issue. So I think this is just me sort of like on the sidelines guessing what happened with the Yahtzee negotiations. Is they went in, and when they started negotiating this contract, that's when people got noisy. Mm-hmm. And people should have been noisy before.
It's not that they should have been.
Oh, that you're right.
It's that they needed to be.
Right. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
They needed to be noisy earlier because what happened was, I mean, this is me just on the sidelines, and someone's going to probably be like, no, Janie, this is what happened. You're fucking talking out of your asshole.
But you know what? If you know more, let us know. Because I would like to know, like there's sources that we have, of course, that people that we know,
and there's varying information online. To be honest, one of the things I kind of went deep in this comment section, okay, and so the workers had authorized this strike, and the strike was going to hobble the entire industry because they're the backbone of the industry.
Nothing. If you don't have a crew, nothing gets done.
Nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
And there's more in that membership than there are, say, in like the Writers Guild. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And like things have already been written, so like they could go on strike and think whatever.
Yeah.
So I saw someone say that the industry, and I tweeted this already. I don't know if this is true or not. I'm going to spread it anyway because I'm going to tell you why. To me, it rang true, personally. That the big time streamers were prepared to go on strike because it would hobble the smaller burgeoning streamers. Mm-hmm. Now, if those smaller burgeoning streamers couldn't weather a strike, they could then swoop in and buy them for cheap.
Yeah.
So they wipe out their competition so that like they could become like a monopoly.
Yeah. And that sounds entirely plausible.
And they were prepared to go 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently the strike fund for the Yahtzee group was only funded for 1 month, which is still like 1 month is devastating. So anyway, like there's all of these my point is there's all of these machinations at play, and it's not so simple as sometimes you see distilled in a tweet where it's like, we want this and they're not giving us this. And it's like, well, they might not be giving you this because they have this other agenda, or the reason that that's not even being negotiated is because it wasn't even brought to the table in time, or whatever. So people were like, this deal is trash. And who knows if they're going to, because they have to vote on it.
Yeah.
They have to accept it.
Yes.
So it just so happens in the wake of this climate that we're in the industry where we live and work or try to work. Work sometimes when we're lucky. This tragic accident happened, and it is the talk of the town. People have been shook. We're shook. There was a movie being shot in New Mexico. They were cutting. This is what we're seeing online. Is that they were cutting corners.
Yeah.
Is that they were cutting corners with the crew, and they had a less experienced crew. They were working too many hours, and it was
which is par for the course.
Par for the course.
Working too many hours is par for the course.
And by the way, this is something that stars Alec Baldwin, who is like a huge star in my opinion.
And he's also a producer on the film.
Yes, and sometimes you're a producer on something, and that's like a name only thing. Like you're not really.
But not with Alec Baldwin.
True, but
you know what I mean? Like he's going to be
also,
involved in
I
this.
worked with Alec Baldwin once on a commercial, so I can speak to this a little bit.
Yeah.
He's very much an alpha male.
Yeah, he was not a producer on that commercial. He just walked in.
Really? Because he acted like.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Guy gave me a line reading. Gotta say, he was right.
Before we get too far into this, we're not trying to necessarily blame Alec Baldwin. I don't know how much he was involved in the hiring of the crew, but they hired someone who is the armorer, and that's the person that. No, they didn't. They didn't have an armorer.
We don't even know. But
they didn't have an armorer.
But we don't even know.
They had a props person who's a non-union props person who apparently didn't know what they were doing.
And it's a Western, by the way.
Yeah.
It's like a period Western where there's a lot of guns.
Yes.
And for some reason, there was a prop gun that was being utilized in a shot. And it had a live round in it. And there was a fatality on the set.
Yeah.
And an injury.
It's like, so this person puts this gun in a rack that means this is ready to use. And so then the assistant director, who I just found out today is somebody that I know.
Which this is a traumatizing situation, not just for the people
for everybody
who lost somebody, but
for
like
everyone. There's so much trauma surrounding.
If you were at a workplace and you saw just imagine if you were at your workplace and you saw someone be accidentally killed in front of your eyes because of a series of decisions around you. It would be a big deal.
Yeah. So my friend, whom I've worked with for a few years, great guy, hands this gun to Alec Baldwin and says to him, it's a cold gun, meaning it's ready to go. It's not dangerous. You can use this gun.
Because he believed it was a cold gun. I mean,
of course.
There was no,
Of course. The thing about film production, it's one of those film and TV. It's one of those jobs. It's one of those industries where everybody's job is equally important. They're not just cogs. It's like everybody has to be good at what they're doing, because without this person, that person, whatever, it all falls apart. It's not good. So
it's like a symphony.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Everybody's working together and everybody's important. Everybody's job, the guy who's holding the boom, the guy who is screwing in the C stands, like everybody is important. And if somebody doesn't know what they're doing, it fucks everything up.
And there's a lot of equipment all the time.
Yeah. And this is the most extreme example of that, where somebody's dead, they leave behind a family, a child. The rest of the people are traumatized forever. Forever. Alec Baldwin, my friend, everybody on that set.
It is the most, first of all,
even this poor idiot who didn't know what they were doing and put a live round in a gun.
I know personally I'm traumatized just by the idea of it. And every single person I know, it's all we've been talking about for the past 12 hours because it is so horrendous. It's horrendous. And to me, it's this larger thing of commerce, this cold entity of commerce infusing and infecting everything underneath it in a way that is completely negligent and devoid of humanity.
Because they don't care. They don't care.
But here's the thing, and this is the unfortunate thing, is they need to fucking care. They need to fucking care. I don't know how to make them care. I think first of all, Yahtzee should strike. And they should strike for a long time. That's what I'm wondering now.
They should strike for a long time.
Because to me, this is now veered into something so emotional and traumatizing, and that I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
It's the most horrific possible illustration of why these people are important and why the union is important and why they need to be taken care of. But, okay, so...
So anyway, we were talking about that on the break. That's why when we came back, we were a little bit it's just so confusing in a way, because there are so many things now that happen that are so avoidable.
Well, here's my thing.
And I feel so powerless. I mean, I know we all kind of feel this way, right?
Yeah.
What was your thing? Sorry, I didn't mean to be...
No. I tweeted this, and I don't understand why, with all of the movie magic at our disposal, there ever has to be such a thing on a set, on a make pretend world, as a gun that has the capability of killing someone.
I'm going to sound kind of like a Karen for a second. I don't understand our obsession with violence and entertainment. Okay,
that's a whole other thing.
By the way, I loved Squid Game. I was going to recommend that.
I love Nobody. It's I don't know. That's a whole other thing. But
sometimes there's bland. There's just bland.
Yes, it's just yes.
Blanket.
To me, though, the idea of a gun that can actually do damage. I did this fucking sketch show.
Yeah.
Kelsey Grammer presents the sketch show.
Should we say what you secretly call it?
No. There was a sketch where, one of our typically corny sketches where two guys are fighting over who's going to pick up the check. And it escalates into they pull guns on each other.
That sounds like a Lebanese family.
So we're doing the sketch, and right before we shoot, this guy comes up with a case with two guns in it.
Yeah.
And we have this whole big instruction, lecture of here's what you do. The guy's really serious and looking at us and
sure.
Well, we're not firing these guns.
Yeah.
Why aren't these just rubber guns? Who gives a fuck? What are we doing? What now? I'm supposed to point this gun at this guy's face.
So you weren't actually firing the gun,
No.
And they had weird mechanical guns.
They had it was a gun that was capable of firing a round.
But that's so fucking stupid.
Why?
That's stupid as shit.
So okay, start there and say that's stupid, and then it's with the technological capabilities that we have now, why are any guns capable of doing that? Why aren't all guns made out of fucking plastic? Why aren't they all rubber? Why aren't they all wood? You can make a realistic looking gun, make it recoil, so it looks like a real thing, and then you put in the muzzle flashes and all that shit later.
I get it.
And it's that's so expensive. Now I posted that online.
It's not expensive though.
That's what I'm getting.
People are talking about that.
Exactly. And they're saying you can do that easy. Easy.
You know what I think happens sometimes in this industry? and maybe I'm wrong, probably I'm wrong, is things that are done, like there are certain little corners of the industry that are done a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Like they've been done that way since like the
fucking
40s
1910s.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
since, cowboy movies.
But then they justify a corner of the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And no one wants to take that job away. Does it make sense?
But it's about converting that job into something else.
I agree with that.
I
agree with that.
And look, I mean, I'm not trying to put any
That's not totally
film
true for
armor.
That's not totally true for every single thing, though, because but
it's true for this thing. It's true for this thing, and that's all I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not yelling at you. I'm because there was a guy.
Also, people could 3D print a real gun. We can't 3D fucking print a fake fucking gun.
There was a guy that wrote back to me. It's like, yeah, I think it's sad, but I just care too much about extreme realism in movies, and it's like, fucking go be in documentaries. Then
are you joking?
It's made up. It's all fake.
Are you for real? Someone tweeted you?
Yes.
That? Okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I have to have a moment. I'm sorry.
And I don't know if this guy works in the industry or if he is just a fan of movies, but he felt
he's a troll.
No, he wasn't being a troll.
I think
he wasn't being a troll. I'll show you the exchange. Believe me, I know when somebody's trolling me. They're not subtle.
I don't know why that makes me have this. I'm having such an
he's
extreme
proving how absurd it is. This is exactly how absurd it is. There's no need, just because people are not dying every time a movie is shot. It's happened a number of times where people. There were people that were killed by blank guns. It was Brandon Lee. It was that guy, John Eric Hexum, on that TV show, as a joke, put a gun up to his head and shot the wad of whatever's in a blank into his skull. It broke his skull. And it's why is that a thing? That shouldn't be a thing.
It's upsetting. It's just, it's upsetting.
Yeah.
This is something that's going, I don't know if people understand outside the industry. They probably do. But this is rocking our industry right now. This is something that has reverberated in a way because it's so interconnected to this larger thing, I think.
Yeah.
But also a life was lost.
Yeah.
A young, talented, when anyone young and talented, and another thing, this woman was Ukrainian, it was a woman, people are trying to celebrate women in this industry and put more women in. I don't know. There was so many layers of it that are so disturbing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be, because this is a make-believe thing, but people, I don't know. And something, I don't know, I notice online, I don't know, Twitter's such a toxic place, but I guess people want to go after Alec Baldwin specifically because he was a Trump impersonator. Oh,
right-wing people, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
They actually are calling for him to be charged with manslaughter. Did you not see that?
No, I didn't see that. Jesus Christ.
I'm stay in your lane, people. Stay in your lane a little bit, because this is not a situation like that.
No, and they know it's not. They know it's not.
You think?
Yeah. They know it's not. They're just being cruel. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Speaking of right wing, something that kind of tickled me a little bit today, I guess the guy that was the president before, we don't have to say his name, the former guy.
Yeah.
So he started his own Facebook or Parler or whatever.
Yes.
And literally within 5 seconds, I think Anonymous hacked it.
Yeah. It got hacked. Yeah. It collapsed. It's done. Yeah.
Wait, isn't that done forever probably, right?
I don't know. Yeah, they'll probably try it again. They'll probably try to, they'll probably think.
Why does that make me, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of funny.
Of course, it's hilarious. But that to them is like a tragedy.
Who?
You know what I mean?
To the right-wing people?
To those people. But that, they can, because Alec Baldwin did a terrible Donald Trump impression, now these people are going to be that cruel. Look, you don't have to be an Alec Baldwin fan to feel terribly for him. This is going to haunt him for the rest of his life.
Guess what? Yeah. Of course it is.
It's terrible.
Of course.
To have that put on you. You know what I mean? It's
I don't think people understand that when you're making a piece of art like that, like you're kind of like enamored with your director, you're enamored with your DP. You know what I mean? Like this is someone that you're working with daily in a way that is, I don't know. It's this weird, intimate relationship.
It's the cliche of the family, but it really is true. Like you
like
work
they
with the
probably even looked at different reels of different DPs, and they were like, "This woman is amazing, and we want her specifically for this project because maybe she does like big, wide, vast Western like scenery a certain way or something like that, or the director specifically has worked with her on a different project where he's like, she understands my vision on things. Like there's so much that goes into these creative projects that are not just like who's available when. You
don't just show up and see, you meet people for the first time.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like
there's a process. There's a process.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a fucking big deal.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I speak out of turn a little bit because I'm not a powerful person in Hollywood. I don't really understand the union stuff. I'm trying to learn a little bit more about it.
Yeah, I think we're all trying to educate ourselves more about it.
The union stuff is interesting to me in a way because I see when these negotiations happen, it's very hard to unify a voice of something, especially if it covers a lot of different corners.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean, the thing about this particular union is that the issues are very well known, and it's surprising that contract was not better, that deal was not better.
But can I say something interesting about that too?
It better be interesting.
Is that I didn't even understand that the IATSE union had all of these different locals and different contracts.
Right.
So like I read an article about how some of the contracts in LA, like I think they were like HBO and some others, you got to look it up on Variety because I'm messing this up. They were working under a different contract that expired a year later. They had the same concerns, but they weren't necessarily going to be impacted by this particular negotiation in this moment until like a year later when they went up to bat.
That was wild to find that out.
So I didn't understand that they had this sort of fractured, like I'm in SAG and it's not, so even though it's heterogeneous, it's less fractured. Like the contracts come up and then they negotiate them. Although they are fractured in the sense that it's like VO versus commercial versus on camera, that kind of thing. Yeah. But not necessarily like, oh, this region of the country is operating under, this little corner of the country is operating under this contract.
Right.
This little corner of the industry is operating on. It seemed kind of, is that by design to keep them off their toes?
I don't know, but I would say that, as you said earlier, they all have the same concerns.
They really do.
And they're very simple. It's like,
but it's going to be different people negotiating.
I know. But what everybody wants in this union, no matter what local they are, they want shorter hours and more money. That's it.
The shorter hours to me is almost like more imperative than the more money because the more money is almost triggered in an automatic way. But the shorter hours thing is not.
How is the more money triggered in an automatic way?
Because there's like this percentage per year this
You'll be
percentage.
working longer because the days aren't going to be.
Well, the more money thing apparently was like, well, I don't understand it exactly,
well,
but it's like 3% this year raised 3%.
Yeah.
Like that's already like kind of like a standardized expectation, whereas the hourly thing, like they want like a 12 out of 12, they like 12 and 12 as opposed to, I don't understand the numbers, but whatever. So the fact that
like have a life, they don't want to like be so tired that they're getting in car accidents.
To me, it's a similar thing as like airline pilots, right? Because like airline pilots are doing something kind of dangerous, and they complain sometimes like we need this amount of turnaround or this, for safety, and they don't look at it like that. Yeah. They look at it as like it's so interchangeable, like monkeys.
Yeah, of course.
Like monkeys can carry bundles of wires from one side of a set to another.
Time equals money. If we save time, that means we're saving money. And so, who cares? They can't. Anyway, okay. This really took a turn. Do we have any recommendations?
Well, I mentioned Squid Game, and there's a lot of gun stuff in that.
Squid Game was so good.
Can I just say that there is violence in it, though?
Yeah. If you don't know.
By the way, we had to kind of mention that we were doing these watch-alongs in all of October. We have a new one coming out.
And when is it coming out?
Midnight tonight. Although I think it came out. I think it came out already because I set it for midnight. Yeah. But I think it must have come out on midnight on the East Coast. Because I didn't look at the timing.
Well, no, 9 p.m. would be their midnight.
But
here.
It's not midnight yet. I mean, it's not 9 p.m. yet here.
Right. So did you set it for 9 p.m. Pacific?
I thought I set it for 12 a.m. Pacific.
Okay.
But for some reason, I got an email that was like, your thing is going. I don't know what
it's publishing or that it's.
Oh, maybe you're right.
Who cares? Look, it's up there.
We fucking did these watch-alongs, you guys.
We have done. We started with The Sixth Sense. We did Candyman. We did what was the third one?
The vampire thing with the
hunger. Hunger. And now the fourth one
we'll just say it.
28 days later. Very fun to revisit this movie, which I had not seen since it came out.
You liked it a little bit more than I did, I think.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. But I really enjoyed it.
Can I just say that so people are like, oh, some people are like, I don't want these watch-alongs. You're making us buy these movies. Okay, first of all, number one, we don't buy the movies personally.
Yes, don't buy the movies. We did rent a couple of the movies.
I think we rented a few. Some of them were on streamers that we already had a relationship with. Yeah. A credit card relationship with. And then some of the, so here's the problem, you guys. So some of our listeners are lovely and they're like, oh my gosh, I went to the library and I got the thing, but we don't understand where you live in the world.
That's true.
So if you're in Canada, you might get the thing on this streamer and not that streamer.
Yeah.
So you can't complain at us about this.
No. No, here's the thing. You can complain about it to us, but really? There's nothing we can do. Okay. We found these movies. We tried to pick movies that were available
large
and good
but large in the looming of the October Octoberverse.
Yeah, because look, we looked at a lot of movies that were not good,
that were trash.
But were extremely available.
Trash.
So yeah, we're sorry if something's not available in your area, but also these things are evergreen, and maybe Halloween,
3 months from now.
Yeah, exactly.
The hunger might be on your fucking canopy.
Maybe
or
someone
something
will deliver it to you.
My point is this. This is October watch along month in addition to our solo October one. What did you say?
It doesn't matter.
So I was going to recommend Squid Game, but also I started watching Dope Sick on Hulu.
Oh yeah.
Can I just say it's disturbing. It's real, and it might be necessary viewing. That's all I'm going to say.
If you would like to continue the rage you felt at that Sackler documentary,
The Crime of the Century.
The Crime of the Century, roll right on into Dope Sick and keep up the rage.
What are your recommendations, Paul?
Man, I don't know. I'm finishing a book, The Good Lord Bird by Jim McBride.
Do you like the book?
I really like the book a lot. Yeah.
Have you read anything by this writer
no,
before?
I don't think so. I think it's my first book.
And is the book a fictional?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know there was like some series on Showtime about it or something. Or
yes, that's an adaptation of the book.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's just a fictional.
Yes, it's a fictionalized retelling of the John Brown story, the abolitionist John Brown. And it's a terrific book, and I'm going to check out more Jim McBride books.
Somehow I started this Seth Rogen memoir.
Oh, did you really?
You know I love my Hollywood memoirs.
Sure.
Okay. But personally for me, a prerequisite is like a bad parent. There has to be a bad parent in there.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was like sort of like a requirement before you even get the publishing contract.
Are you saying Seth didn't have a bad parent?
No.
Ooh, Seth, big mistake.
Not a bad parent.
Big mistake.
He had good parents. But I had to say, came around because it's funny.
There you go.
I don't like funny.
You famously don't like funny.
For a memoir, I want like drama.
What about wry? Do you like somebody being wry?
I'd say he's above wry. He's like in David Sedaris land.
Wow. Okay. Maybe I'll check this book out.
By the way, your name is in the book.
Ooh. Oh yeah, you showed me that.
I was like falling asleep and I was reading it and he was talking about stand up and he mentions Paul and I was like, I pushed on Paul and I was like, oh my God. I was like, wake up. You're like in this book.
Wake up. You're in a book.
And he was like, huh. He was like less impressed than I was.
And
Did you find yourself in
the next day it disappeared.
You forgot.
Wasn't there anymore.
You forgot. I don't know much about Seth Rogen. This was like actually kind of like, do you know why
he and I were co-stars in the movie Anchorman.
Wait, what? Did you have a scene with him? You didn't though. Your scene was like with a cat, I thought.
Yes. I am the MC of the cat fashion show, but he's there as the cameraman with Christina Applegate.
What?
And that's when I met him. Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
So like if we passed him on the street and you were like, Seth, he would be like, hey man, hey Paul.
I think so, yeah. And I've interviewed him and stuff and yeah. I hope so.
I kind of like, I don't know.
What if he doesn't?
No, he does. I feel like I don't know much about him other than just like whatever, but I kind of fell in. The reason I kind of fell into his memoir is because he made this statement on Twitter, or no, it wasn't on Twitter. It just was, I found it on Twitter about how him and his wife are kind of like happily child free and they don't want to be like, silent about it or something. Like their whole thing is like,
they don't want to pretend that
it's not great or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah. That they don't enjoy their lives.
Yeah. And so I was like, there was the feminist side of me where I was like, oh, this is so interesting that a man is saying this in the universe.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I started following him on Twitter after that. That wasn't that long ago. And then I was like, I think I'm hearing about this because he has this new book. And so I ended up kind of just vaguely interested in it. And then I fell into it and I was like, he's a very funny storyteller. Also, by the way, he's very into drugs.
Yeah,
Did you know that?
Yeah, honey.
Oh, is that a thing?
Yes.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh my God. Really?
He has like a line of like pot accessories. Yeah, because he was like, why can't these things be nice? And so he makes like nice bongs and stuff.
Stop
and
it.
pipes. Yeah. He's very into pottery.
Pottery.
Yeah.
But
he likes to sculpt and
wait, what?
Yeah.
I'm almost at the end of the book and that hasn't come up.
Maybe he just likes to keep that to himself.
But here's the thing too. Also, there's like another element of it where it's not just pot. It's like mushrooms, ecstasy, and acid.
Yeah, I mean...
That's okay?
What do you mean that's okay?
I mean, like you knew that?
I didn't know that,
this
but
isn't like a shocking revelation.
That's not surprising. I knew he was a big pot
Are you
guy.
saying it's like not like a shocking revelation
No,
in the
that's
book?
not shocking. No.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Man, all
Is
right.
it shocking to find out that somebody as famously into pot is also into mushrooms and
I don't know. I don't know. He seems so highly functional.
he's not a drug. He doesn't say like, I'm a drug addict.
He's not a drug addict, but I don't know. I guess maybe I have a hang up or something because in a way, like I would not have associated with the functionality with, but also I think people's brain chemistries are different. Like if someone were like, oh, for 1 year, you have to do the amount of drugs that Seth Rogen does. Then I don't think
This is a great show.
I don't think my output would be the same as Seth Rogen's.
This is
like I wouldn't have
a game show.
I wouldn't have a memoir. I wouldn't have 8 movies.
This is a fucking
I wouldn't
game
be
show.
doing meetings.
Maybe you would.
With Steven Spielberg.
But maybe you would.
There's no
This
fucking
is the
way.
game show. This is the game show. Here's the drugs that Seth Rogen does in a
No
year.
way.
You do the same amount and see what happens.
My life, my makeup, my chemical makeup, my nervous system is not.
You say that now. But once
Not
we
the
get you on the
same.
show, it's you versus 2 other people. I'm the host.
This sounds like, you know what this
And
sounds
Seth
like?
is like a remote. He appears on a screen.
It sounds like I made a deal.
welcome, contestants.
Okay, this week you have to do like 8 tabs of ecstasy and meet and you have to meet with Steven Spielberg. You have to meet with Steven Spielberg on ecstasy, and you have to give him notes on his newest project.
This show has legs.
This show
I'm telling you.
is upsetting and
gotta
makes
pitch
me
this
want to
shit.
puke.
We got to pitch this shit. We're going to talk to Seth. All right.
Those
thank
are my
you all.
recommendations.
Thank you all for listening. We'll be back. I'm going to tell you what.
Please go to dynastytypewriter.com and stream our show.
Check out our show, dynastytypewriter.com. The Uncanny Hollow is the name of the show.
I might fuck up because
You're
Paul
not gonna
gave me the
fuck up.
pages last night.
You're not going to fuck up. Yeah, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. And enjoy the watch-alongs. We got one more coming after this one.
I can't wait for the next one, to be honest.
Yes,
if we,
I'm really looking
if we
forward to it.
commit to it. We'll
commit to it.
We're in a little bit of discussion about it.
No, we're going to do it. Let's just say we're going to
We're
do
doing
it.
the scariest one for the final.
Okay. I mean, this is a movie
in
that
my
Jamie has
opinion.
seen that I've never seen. It's a horror classic.
You've never seen it?
I've never seen it.
Wait.
We've
What?
discussed this. I've told you I've never seen it.
Wait.
No, not that one.
I thought that was the one that we were talking about.
No.
I thought that was going to... Oh.
Now you remember?
Yeah. Never mind. It's not the scary. Well, it might be the scariest one, but it's also like...
It's a horror classic.
It's good.
Yeah. All right. We are stayfhomekins at Instagram and Twitter, stayfhomekins@gmail.com if you want to write to us. And I think that's it. We'll be back before you know it, okay?
We have a November Stay of Homekins on the books.
That's right.
Listen, guys. Take care of yourselves.
Yeah.
Love yourselves. Love one another. You know, it's hard to connect through the mask,
So true.
but you can smile.
But you can smize.
Damn, it says smile through your eyes.
Until we talk to you again.
Stay safe, stay sane, and stay strong.